SKNIS is pleased to continue our development tours. In our last presentation, we featured the ongoing work at the Golden Rock Commercial Park, a mixed-use development being built in the vicinity of the Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw International Airport, and the Imperial Bay Golf and Beach Residences in Half Moon. In this presentation, we featured the launch of the Prime Hotel and Condominium project, approved by the government for construction in 2014. You will hear a project overview from Mr. Farron Lawrence, the local developer, and remarks by the Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Dr. Denzil Douglas, and Mr. Abbas Fahim, the principal investor.
Prime Developments Limited is a locally registered company in St. Kitts and Nevis. The key players in this development up to this point are Mr. Abbas Fahim, the senior investor and partner in this development, Mr. Cyrus Motivaso, also an investor as well as the business consultant for the project, and SKN Homes, which is owned by myself as the developer. A brief description of the project. It's located at Half Moon Phase 4, which essentially is the foothills facing Bastia, with the proposed site for the national park in the foreground, and the city of Bastia, Port Zante, the airport, and the Caribbean Sea in the background. The land size is approximately 6.815 acres, and it will include 439 parking spaces for vehicles. The building will be along the modern type. Building materials used would be concrete, steel frame, glass, and gypsum. Energy generation will be through renewable energy source. Lighting would be daylight illumination and natural ventilation. Again, the whole idea is to make these buildings as green as possible. Just to give you a better view of where the project is, this is a view standing on the project looking towards Bastia. That's just a wider view. That is the more northern view from the side, from the airport side. The view spans from the airport all the way around to Port Zante. So that's the northern side of the view. This is a view of the actual land. That is the land where the construction will take place. I'm pretty sure most of you will recognize this area. It is the Phase 4 part of the Half Moon development site. This view is from the Frigate Bay Road looking across to the development. If you look in the corner, there's a house there, which is, yeah, Mr. Bailey, correct. And then so the project is actually to the right of Mr. Bailey's house, covering, it's actually, I don't recall the exact length of that section, but it's a very long, it's a very long dimension. So it spreads across the entire foothills in that area. There will be essentially 9 buildings on the project. The project will comprise 9 buildings. The main building will be an actual hotel with approximately between 70 to 100 rooms, operated as a full-fledged hotel. That would include lobby and reception area, restaurant, conference room, gift shop, sports bar, spa and gymnasium, rooftop patio, swimming pool, and other common area facilities. So essentially, that's why it's termed a hotel condo. So the center building would be the hotel, and the buildings to the side, as you'll see as we progress in the slide, would be the actual condominiums for long-term living. So each of the other 9 buildings, each building would have approximately 36 one-bedroom condominium units. Each building would have a rooftop pool and leisure area and an entertainment area as well. The expected economic impact on this project, where we sit now, just in terms of running the numbers, we are seeing direct investment of approximately $70 million US. We are seeing approximately 150 direct jobs during construction. And again, we are seeing approximately 100 direct jobs during operation, as well as other various economic spin-offs. This is essentially the layout of the land. It goes from this area here, which is the area close to Mr. Bailey's house, spreads all the way around almost to the Sugars area. It's not quite in the Sugars area, but in that direction. This area is the area for the national park. And the hill, there's a big hill in the back here. Okay, and then, so the buildings spread across the land. You have building 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. The center building, I think it's this one right here, would actually be operated as a full-fledged hotel. This is an architectural rendering of what we are expecting to see, particularly on the main building. This is looking from the Frigate Bay Road over to the project. Because of the contour of the land, it enables us to do pretty much a step construction where the building is 8 floors high, but it's 4 floors from one level, then the patio area, and then 4 additional floors to the top. So there's a road in the back here. That's the road from the top of the hill, and then this is the road at the bottom of the hill. Same view. Now this is looking at it from the top of the hill towards Bastair. So from the top of the hill, you'll be able to see 2 stories only. This is just to give you a better idea of the layout of the pool area at the top of the lower building. The idea is to probably have a restaurant on one of them, but it's basically a leisure area for entertainment. This gives you an idea of how the buildings would be situated on the land. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, but of course it continues for the other 5. Makes it a total of 10. This is a layout of the living area, the kitchen area, and this is of the condominium, not of the hotel. This is, I'm giving you an internal view of the condominiums, and this is the bedroom area. Bathroom. Status and timeline. To date, this is what has been accomplished to date. The land has been acquired, purchased, and owned by Prime Developments Limited. That was done approximately 3 or 4 months ago. The requested concessions from government has been negotiated and approved. The architectural concepts design were completed and were approved by the Development Control and Planning Board. Agreements have been reached with the architect and all other engineering services to complete the working drawings. The working drawings is scheduled to be completed and submitted to the Development Control and Planning Board by the 28th of February 2014. On the assumption of 4 to 8 weeks for approval of drawings by the DCPB, construction is scheduled to commence by May 1, 2014. We have spent some time to go through this schedule, and we believe it is attainable. And I think once we have the support and no major delays, I'm very confident that we can achieve this. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a pleasure and privilege to stand before you this morning on the occasion of the presentation of our proposed new development project, Prime Hotel and Condominium. Having gained citizenship of St. Kitts and Nevis over a year ago, I am overjoyed to be able to be a part of bringing such a major development project to this country that has accepted me and that I now regard as home. For me, it was not enough to simply receive a piece of paper that made me a citizen. It was imperative that I contribute to the development of the country and its people. With Dr. Cyrus Mutawassil, my business partner and consultant, and Mr. Faron Lawrence, our developer and local representative, I am confident that we have a team that will ensure the successful completion of this project. The economic and business environment that exists in St. Kitts and Nevis today is attractive to direct foreign investment. This is so for a number of reasons, including 1, a government that understands economic development and is able to negotiate to the benefit of itself, its people, and investors at the same time. 2, good, solid, and reliable infrastructure. 3, availability of an educated, knowledgeable, and experienced workforce. 4, political stability. 5, general economic stability and by extension foreign exchange stability. 6, sound legal system, by extension the rule of law. 7, being a true democracy. 8, a friendly and hospitable people, and last but not least, 9, a beautiful twin island country. There are characteristics that are generally important and critical to every investor, any and anywhere in the world. St. Kitts and Nevis, therefore, ought not to take it lightly that it possesses these qualities, but rather should continue to stand erect with pride. I'm a firm believer that a corporation has a moral and social responsibility to its community. With that in mind, it's our intention to seek out the needs of a community and assist with providing relief where and when possible. While profit is good and indeed necessary, it cannot all be about profit. Somewhere between the profit, it must also be about the people, the workers, the customer, the poor, the needy, the aged, the children. It must also be about the environment. We therefore intend to support the government in its Go Green initiatives where and when possible. Our intention is to start in our own backyard by ensuring, as Mr. Lawrence pointed out, that what we build and operate utilizes renewable energy and green technology to the fullest extent possible. Indeed, we intend to make our building a model in this regard for St. Kitts and Nevis. In as much as we are optimistic about the project, we also know that the success of an endeavor of this magnitude will also depend on the cooperation and mutually beneficial collaboration between us and the local governmental agencies in order to achieve a timely completion. In this regard, we acknowledge the presence of the local government representatives, and we sincerely hope to receive your full cooperation for this project. And for our part, we assure you that we will put our best foot forward in order to make this project a complete success.
We here in St. Kitts and Nevis are always very pleased to welcome investors and developers to our shores. But when two of these are recent citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis who have been awed and inspired by what this country has to offer, we give them in particular special recognition for the confidence that they demonstrate in their new country, our country, in our citizens, and of course in the government of St. Kitts and Nevis. Today, I emphasize that St. Kitts and Nevis continues its forward movement. And we continue to do so on many fronts. We continue first and foremost by ensuring that Kittitians and Nevisians of vision, of competence and capability continue to play a pivotal role in the social and economic achievement of an advancement, I would say, of our federation. We continue by ensuring that the implementation of these individuals' vision redound to the benefit of nationals in the construction trades, redound to the benefit of nationals in air conditioning and refrigeration services, in accounting services, in excavation services, in hospitality services, and the range of other services, the combination of which is key to the transformation of unique ideas into viable, functioning, vibrant realities. Mr. Farron Lawrence, an accomplished and truly outstanding son of the soil, is such a visionary. And Prime Residence Condominium project, of which Mr. Lawrence is the developer and investor representative, is such an idea. Indeed, we understand a moment ago that some 150 persons will be employed here during construction, and yet again another 100 more being employed on an ongoing basis post-construction. Mr. Ghulam Abbas Fahim and Dr. Cyrus Motivasser are the investors we've been told in Prime Developments Limited. And I should mention here that Mrs. Fahim and Motivasser have become citizens, again I am mentioned, of St. Kitts and Nevis as well. Our country, ladies and gentlemen, offers an unending stream of exquisitely beautiful vistas, no matter where in our federation one may be. And this Half Moon Bay area, specifically the area designated as Half Moon Phase 4 Development Area, we will agree, is no exception at all. This explains why so many local and international interests who are involved in the hospitality industry see St. Kitts and Nevis as a prime location for the establishment or the expansion of their businesses. In addition, socio-political and economic tumult is now the order of the day in many areas around the world. And so the focused, disciplined, high competence governance profiles that St. Kitts and Nevis has successfully developed has served as a definite magnet where local and international investors are concerned. A moment ago, you heard Mr. Fahim himself enumerate a number of the specific factors that were considered in attracting him here to this country for investment. In fact, a few months ago, when we first met, he not only interviewed me in terms of what was the future prospects for St. Kitts and Nevis, but he traveled, I understand, to St. Martin and maybe many other areas, looking at other islands to seek opportunities for investment. And naturally, he returned here because the factors which he outlined were responsible in motivating him in making that final decision that St. Kitts and Nevis was the place for his investment. And so I said that regardless of how appealing St. Kitts and Nevis might be, however, the decision of who does and does not invest in St. Kitts and Nevis remains in the hands of our government. And in order to ensure that St. Kitts and Nevis continues to be the gem that it is, my government insists on the most demanding due diligence procedures to be followed. It was just last week, Wednesday, I was in London addressing an international conference of about 170 persons, conference that was being held on global residence and citizenship. And there I spoke of the quality of the investor, the quality of the citizen that St. Kitts and Nevis was attracting. And I made it clear that despite the competition, which we know is presently unfolding in neighboring Antigua, in Grenada, possibly in Barbados, in Malta. Malta was launching a program the very next day in the same hotel where our conference was being held. I made the point to the conference attendees that St. Kitts and Nevis is not in any way perturbed, because not only are we able to insist on the highest standards of due diligence in terms of selecting our citizens, but that when they come not only for the initial investment that provides citizenship, but they come back and do a second and third investment because of the quality of this country and the quality of the people of this country who are their fellow citizens. Dr. Cyrus Montevassal, this is in fact his second after his primary and first investment as a citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis. And that is what we are seeing. The quality of the people who are becoming our citizens is unmatched. And that is why I say to you today, despite the competition that there is, St. Kitts and Nevis Citizenship by Investment Program remains the #1 sought after global program. The longest serving, but it is also of the highest quality. And that is why we are confident that our Economic Development Trust using this model will continue. And in keeping with this, we therefore warmly welcome prime residences to the body of development projects moving forward here despite the global downturn. We work very hard here in St. Kitts and Nevis, ladies and gentlemen. I work hard. Every single member of my cabinet works hard. Our public servants, we demand of them the highest standard and the highest quality. We continue to say that the work ethics in this country must continue to improve if we are really to succeed in competing with the rest of the international community, because that's where we are now. We are no longer competing within the region, we are competing globally. And so I want to commend, in particular, the public servants, those who have worked diligently over the last few weeks to ensure that the necessary processing and approvals have been given on time for this project in particular to have proceeded to where it is today. I want to thank those in particular in Skipper, those who are in the Citizenship by Investment Unit, those who are working in the Development Control and Planning Board, the Ministry of Sustainable Development, those public servants who have been called upon from time to time to accelerate the pace at which we do business, because that is going to be the deciding factor eventually. as to whether we will succeed competitively or we would fail competitively. And I make the point about we working hard because we know that the only thing really that matters is results, quick efficiency in returning results. It has been reported, for example, that our extraordinary efforts have resulted in our own having the highest rate of economic growth in the Eastern Caribbean during the first half of 2013. And this is certainly true. But equally true is the fact that our economy also grew at a greater rate than either the economy of the United States of America, from which so many of our own visitors come, or the Eurozone nations, the origin for so many of our own tourism arrivals. And this too has helped to undergird the reputation for sound economic management that St. Kitts Nevis has so carefully developed over the years. We continue to make sure that our country remains a prime destination. I commend those who are in the Ministry of Tourism and in the agencies of the Ministry of Tourism who continue to facilitate the ease with which people can get here to St. Kitts and Nevis and also invest and enjoy themselves. Prime Residence Condominium Hotel, which will inject some US $70 million into our economy and will embrace the same high standards in terms of plant and amenities as its currently under construction nearby sister development, Imperial Bay Resorts. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, I have spoken extensively in recent weeks, both at home and abroad, about my government's commitment to ensuring that St. Kitts and Nevis will be the first sustainable island state in the world. And key to this, as you know, will be the Federation's ongoing forward movement in both the production as well as the utilization of green energy. I am most pleased to be able to say that in addition to all that I have already said, green energy, renewable energy, is already an integral part of Prime Residence's design, as has been demonstrated by Mr. Lawrence a moment ago. I therefore welcome Prime Residence to the Development Trust, now underway here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and I look forward to a future of constructive relations between this project, the government of the Federation, and the people of our nation at large. And so I say warmest congratulations to all whose efforts are making Prime Residences a reality and the development of St. Kitts and Nevis also a reality for all of us. God bless you. Thank you.
There's plenty of land for you and I, by and by. Lots of food to share for everyone. No time for segregation in the promised land. Oh gosh, take me to the promised land. In the promised